Hello, dear teachers, trainers, educators around Europe and from all the other countries. Welcome on the 68th Conference on Pan-European Conference on Digital Education. My name is Blanca Tazer. I will be the moderator of today's session. Today's session is devoted to global learning because the previous week was devoted to global learning and sustainable development goals. And in that week, the STEP Institute organized an event for youth. The event is called Triathlon of Activism. And in summary, this event is devoted to young people. They discuss in interactive way different global sustainable development issues, and they also develop different ideas connected with global learning and sustainable development goals. We will see some of this methodology today. And we are also very happy to host our presenters, who are today, two of them are from Africa, and this will be the first presentation. Challenges of education in developing countries. So Ruth and John will present this topic. And then we will follow with the presentation delivered by Risper. She is a climate justice activist and works also for Greenpeace Africa. She will present a topic inspiring action. So my journey as a climate justice activist with Greenpeace Africa. And then we move to the methodology. The methodology of the Triathlon of Activism. This is an event for youth, and Maja Jotić from STEP Institute will present the methodology. And after this, Yernea will speak also about the Triathlon of Activism, and we are also happy to host one of the participants, Lana, who will show what they discussed, and she will show a prototype developed during the Triathlon of Activism, and the prototype is connected to schools. You will see. But now let's meet our presenters, yes? Just a second, I have to remove those slides. Yes, and the first with us are Ruth and John. They will deliver their presentation together. So Ruth, can you tell us a little bit about yourself for a start?
Okay. Thank you so much, Bianca. We appreciate the opportunity of IESD. Yes, I'm Ruth Nawakwi, currently serving as the Executive Director of Inclusive Education for Sustainable Development. And my colleague is John, who will introduce himself later. About me, I'm a social scientist, a researcher, and an educator. So I work with different schools within Zambia and beyond, and to look at how best can we attain SDG that is quite important. How well can we assist our community members, starting with the parents, the parents, and the teachers? How can we promote teacher well-being as well as self-motivated learners so that we do not leave anyone behind? Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. And for later for the presentation, if you can move a little bit to the microphone, because we didn't hear so well the presentation. Yeah. And how about John?
Great. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody is well. Greetings from Lusaka, the capital city of Zambia. And it's good to be here. My name is John Lijim Jr. the Third. And I am the current board chairperson, or you can call me board chairman, for the Inclusive Education for Sustainable Development, IESD, the organization where Ruth is the executive director. I think she's talked a little bit more about IESD, and we might talk a little bit more in the presentation. But so much about me is that a governance and development expert. That's what I do. I'm a government consultant with the government of the Republic of Zambia, offering policy guidance and policy direction to the government of Zambia in terms of governance and development. And I am professionally a project manager, and also running an organization called Integrated Governance and Development Network. So that's about John, and yeah, I love adventure and traveling. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am very honored to have you both here today. And here we have also Risper from Kenya. Welcome. Can you also tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, thank you so much. It's afternoon here in Kenya. My name is Risper Asembo. I'm a wildlife scientist by profession. I'm a trained climate reality leader. I was trained by the former Vice President Aligo. And I'm a climate justice activist by passion, as I said before. And I'm also the founder of Beyond the Trails Kenya, which is an initiative working on environment and climate literacy in public primary schools across Kenya. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to have you here. And now we have two team members from the STEP Institute who initiated the event for youth, Triathlon of Activism. Welcome, Maja and Tirnea. So Maja, please, a little bit about yourself.
Yes, hello. Yes, I'm Maja. I work for STEP Institute. And first, I want to say I'm really happy that today's conference took us beyond Europe and that we also went to Africa. And I'm really curious about the presentations because I think it's also something a bit unusual and original or unique for Pan-European Conference. But yes, last weekend we implemented one event called Triathlon of Activism, and our idea is to encourage young people to be more active in society. So today we will show you what we did and try to also motivate you to implement something similar in the schools to encourage active citizenship of students.
Yeah, thank you. Tirnea.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm also a member of STEP Institute team, and I was just thinking that how much I really like working directly with people. So being at trainings, events, workshops is for me the best because I can hear the stories, I can share ideas, and we can learn together and try to motivate one another to actually do something for a better world. So I'm looking forward to this conference as well.
Obviously, also the participants are happy that we have Europe and Africa collaboration today. So here is one of the comments. And Lana, and an icebreaker girl also with us, right? Yeah, so can you tell us a little bit about you too? If Lana will get a permission, and the microphone as well. The microphone.
Nina. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Hi.
Okay.
I'm Lana. I'm a biology major, and right now I'm off the job market because I'm at home with this little 3-year-old girl who is going to kindergarten soon. So I wanted to. Before I went to the job market, I wanted to learn how to do something meaningful in my life, not just be another worker. So that's why I attended the Triathlon of Activism. And I think they managed to give me some motivation and some ideas. Well, so I'm very happy to be here today to present something that we did.
That's great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Thank you all. So we will see each other soon. Now I will remove the presenters from the stage because I would also like to show you something else. Um, the teachers this time have the opportunity also to submit your own teaching practice. So if you have any teaching practice connected to global learning or sustainable development goals, you can submit a poster or a PowerPoint presentation on our Padlet, and we will review those presentations. Uh, and I will show just a second because it's very good that teachers share their knowledge among each other. Of course, during our conference, we always have just time for few presentations, but I know that so many of you work a lot with specifically those topics, sustainable development goals. And here we also see some of the presentations. So those presentations will also stay online after the conference. And if you are searching for some ideas, what can you teach connected to sustainable development goals, here you have the Padlet in which you can maybe find some fresh ideas or upgrade some of your teaching, etc. If you want to submit your own teaching practice, it's still time because we are collecting them until the end of November. And in case you are planning to do that, then please don't forget to put also your email address because otherwise we cannot say to you thank you and send out the certificates of the poster presentation. So the certificates will be sent out in the first week in December, more concretely on the 10th of December. So yes, and we also collected one brainstorming with teachers that I will also show you. So this one is here. If you want to participate, you can still do this. In order to participate, just scan this code that you see now. So we are collecting those ideas and brainstorming just to get a little bit insight view on how our teachers are thinking about global learning and sustainable development goals. Yes. So we can see here that yes, that global education and learning is very important for teachers across Europe, and that they want to integrate those topics into everyday curricula. Those were the most frequent ideas, yes? And then we ask them which global goals are the most important to you. And yes, here we can see quality education. Yes, this is not a surprise since our target groups are teachers. So we value and prioritize education very highly. Yeah? And also peace and justice and strong institutions. Yeah. So far we only have 8 participants responded because we didn't announce this Mentimeter before the conference so much, but since it is still now is the time, if you want to contribute some of your thoughts, you can. And what activities do you carry out in your teaching practice to promote global education? And here we can see the teachers are using storytelling, role playing. Some of them are connecting theoretical knowledge to real world applications. And some of them have concrete lesson plans. And as you know, also the United Nations organization have many teaching resources, and many of teachers are also using them. Yeah. So we will upload these results also in our Facebook group Pan-European Conference on Digital Education. And in the same group, you can also find all the presentations from today's event. And now let's go to our presentation, to our first presentation. Ruth and John, I will upload your slides and then we will listen about the challenges of education in developing countries. Let me just, so yeah, the presentation is here.
Great.
So Ruth
Okay.
and John, yeah, welcome. Yeah.
Thank you, Blanca. It's good to be here again. First of all, the first slide is basically talking about just an introduction about ourselves. As you can see, the presentation was and is supposed to be conducted and be done by Ruth Nawakwi, the Executive Director of IESD. I am the board chairperson, but I think after interacting, we thought we could do it together. So we're presenting the challenges of education in developing countries. But maybe before we even talk about the challenges of education in developing countries, we want to indicate that this is coming with courtesy of Inclusive Education for Sustainable Development, the organization that we operate and work from. And I'll give Ruth just about 3 minutes to talk a little bit about what IESD is, and then I can come to the slides. So Ruth, just 3 minutes so that people can understand IESD, where we're coming from, what it is. Thank you. Then I'll come in after 3 minutes.
Okay. Thank you so much, John. Inclusive Education for Sustainable Development is a youth-led organization in Zambia with 4 thematic areas, that is inclusion, youth empowerment, sustainability, and we also focus on education to promote the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and also the African agenda, that is the Agenda 2063 for the African Union. So we are working to promote SDG 4, that is quality education, by ensuring that we do not leave anyone behind, focusing on the challenges of learners with disabilities and those that are vulnerable from rural areas and those that are maybe in distant places where young people find it very, very difficult to access education. So Zambia is a landlocked country which has about 8 neighboring countries, and our organization is operating in 4 provinces of Zambia, of which in total we have 10 provinces of in our country. So IESD focuses on taking research to ensure that we get the needs of our learners in schools and have solutions set for them. So there on for the picture that is there, that is me. I was conducting a research in Imbala district to collect information on what is affecting the learners so that we supplement the efforts that government is doing to promote quality education in Zambia. So please, John, I submit to you to continue.
Thank you very much, Ruth. That was great. So as you can see, colleagues, IESD was founded in 2017 in terms of our preliminary work, and we did a lot of work without registration, without registering ourselves, until in 2023, when we got our legal accreditation and we got registered, and now we are a registered organization. And just a while ago, about an hour ago, we just coming from a meeting with Minister of Education, the permanent secretary, that we were meeting there with in terms of rolling out our activities. Let's go to the next slide, please, Blanca. Great. So here is how our presentation is going to go. We're going to start with the key definitions of a number of things, including education. So one of the key definition is that education is a lifelong process where knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values are imparted. This also is resonates to UNESCO's definition that has defined it as an organized and sustained communication process, which is designed to bring about learning. So the United Nations also Sustainable Development Goal SDG 4 ensures that there's inclusivity and equitable and quality education for all. Inclusive education is about ensuring that all learners, including those with disabilities, have access to quality education. And education inequality, therefore, then means that this is an equal distribution of academic resources amongst learners, for them to be able to achieve this education that we're talking about. But we also know that education also empowers individuals and communities to achieve, personal development and social inclusion and economic growth. So you have people that will develop at a personal level. Their social status will change if they get educated. But also there is some economic benefit that comes when one is educated, because then they use that information and that education to be able to better and solve a lot of life situations. But also it also helps in terms of just balancing up the issues of inequalities, or the coefficient, which we call the coefficient in terms of poverty and poverty reduction, the percentages of children that are unable, unfortunately, to read and understanding simple text by the age of 10 in the developing countries is really high. But in the context of inclusive education for sustainable development, we think that education is a tool for promoting equity. It is a tool for promoting inclusivity, but also it is a tool that helps in sustainable development, a development that is much more sustainable. We can go next, Blanca. So we also continue with a few quotes from articles. It is also been identified that over 244 million children and youth are actually out of school globally, with the highest rates of this, unfortunately, happening in a country that we sit in Zambia here, which is in the southern Saharan Africa. This is according to the UNESCO report of 2023. It is also been researched that learning outcomes remain very low, with many children completing primary education without acquiring any basic literacy and numeracy skills. This is according to World Bank. This probably is necessitated by various things, the quality of education that is being given. And so it is more on paper that children are going to school, but the quality of that education may not be bringing out this particular, skills, the basic literacy and numeracy skills. That's just one of them. But we also researched that investment in the teacher training and inclusive learning materials is very critical for bringing and bridging learning gaps in developing nations. UNDP education report has clearly shown that training is a critical component of ensuring that the gap is bridged between, between those that teach, but also those that are learning, in order to be able to achieve sustainable development. But we also researched and discovered that infrastructure has largely become, the deficit of it remains a major barrier, with millions of learners studying and learning in either very unsafe places or non-permanent places. I don't know what it is like in other, countries, but largely and generally in Africa, there are even pupils that learn under a tree. So the tree is basically just providing the shade, and the teacher has to teach from a chalkboard that is just raised under the tree. And for others, it is in substructures that may not have roof, or it may not have desks to be able to be used, in that learning. So this also is a challenge. We can go next. Yeah. But then we thought we should give an overview of Zambia. Zambia is one of the countries in southern sub-Saharan country, like we said, which is hugely affected by this. And in Zambia, there are a few things that are on paper and on the shelves. One of them is the free education policy. So with the current government, there's the free education policy that has been introduced to allow for many learners to come into classroom without paying for this education, at least up to secondary school, which is higher education. I mean, not higher education, high school education. So this free education policy has necessitated about 2.4 million children that were not in class that are now in school and have been accepted in school as a result of this free policy, education policy. But and just to give an overview, we have in our country, in Zambia, for example, 13,446 schools in Zambia, and about 10,000 of those are primary schools, and the rest, the balance is high schools. And we have about 10 public universities in Zambia, and roughly about 53 private universities. So you can see that that there's still need for this particular policy to work. Infrastructure gaps, I think that's one of them, which is a big issue in Zambia. Teacher training and development is a big issue in Zambia. It's either we have a lot of teachers that have gotten trained, but they can't be employed because of the budgetary constraints. The current government in about 3 years or so have been able to at least skyrocket and employ up to about 40,000 plus teachers in the education system to just balance up the teacher-pupil ratio in terms of. But then, like this morning, we were in the meeting and the permanent secretary was telling us we have a very ugly situation as crowded classrooms to a point of 150 pupils in one classroom for one teacher. You can imagine the stress that that teacher has to go through. You can only imagine the quality of education that may come out of that. 150 pupils for one teacher, that's like 3 classrooms being managed by one teacher. And that compromises on the quality of the education that comes. Rural education challenges. So we can go to the next, Blanca, for the sake of time. So that's an overview of Zambia. And are we there, Blanca? Maybe we can go to the next. I want to talk a little bit about the curriculum reforms. Yeah, so the curriculum was just reformed very recently, and now the new curriculum that started at the beginning of this year to just align to make sure that there's quality education. So challenges in inclusive education. Obviously, we needed to add inclusive education to this presentation because it is very close to our hearts as IESD in terms of inclusivity. But we realized that there's a huge challenge in the education system, and this cuts across many developing countries. A lack of assistive devices and adapted learning materials for those learners with disabilities. So we have situations where learners with disabilities are just bunched together with the others that don't have the disabilities, and that has a huge impact. And they don't have, for example, the hearing impairment. They may not have, what can enhance their hearing when the teacher is teaching. And the methodology may be the same, but then the disability is different. So that challenges the inclusivity, or maybe it could be lack of braille in the schools in terms of those that are blind. but limited teacher capacity for inclusive teaching practices. So in terms of the limitation of the teacher capacity is that this is both training and in terms of the resources that the teacher has to use in order to be effective to teach the learners with disabilities. So those two are a serious limitation when it comes to the developing countries. But also we have inadequate policy implementation for disability inclusion. It is in the recent that we are all coming up with a lot of this affirmative action and a lot of advocacy that we are even seeing a lot of inclusion of learners with disability in the mainstream of education. Before that, the implementation of this was difficult. You don't even have certain bodies in certain countries that specifically look at learners with disabilities, and that is a huge challenge. But then there's also the issue of stigma. You know, the social stigma affecting learners. We even have families that would rather keep their children in their homes other than take them to school. And so some of the learning centers that have got learners with disabilities have got to actually go around and try to, you know, force parents, guardians, and families to convince them that even the learners with disabilities can be included in the education agenda of the country, and they can also get but then some of them will either drop out of school or not participate in the education because of the stigma that comes with it, depending on the disability that that particular child is. So the performance also is hampered by that particular stigma, and these are some of the challenges that maybe we need to seriously look at and ensure that we leave no one behind in terms of them achieving this global human right of education. Next, Blanca. Tell me when we get to the 9th slide, because I will have to hand over to Ruth. So we do also have
here is the 9th slide. Yes.
And yeah, so when we get to the 9th slide, please, Blanca, tell me, because then I will hand over to
this
Ruth.
one is the 9th slide, and also we are in a short of time because we still need to hear more presentations. So maybe we move to Ruth and then to Risper
so Ruth,
and
you
the
can
others.
pick it up from there, on the teacher shortages and skills gaps. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, John.
Okay, thank you so much, John. Sure. So I'm now taking up from him. So we have teacher shortages and skills gaps. So we have inadequate teacher training programs, and despite having a number of universities and colleges running, we still have teacher shortages in cases of those that would promote STEM learning in sciences, mathematics. We still have some teacher shortages there. Then we also have high pupil to teacher ratio because of an example given for Zambia is free education. It has increased a number of learners in schools who are now reporting because of free education. So the teachers are having issues to do with having a number of high rates or high numbers of learners in classes that also is affecting their level of performance and how they can deliver lessons. Then limited training in inclusive education, this has been already pointed out. Then poor retention due to low remuneration. So this one also is, there is really a gap when it comes to how teachers offer their services in schools because of lack of certain programs that would help them become best teachers and offer good lessons in classes. So please, the next one. Blanca, next. Okay, so the next slide is about infrastructure challenges. This one we have lack of electricity and safe water. Under this one, overcrowded classrooms is something we've talked about. Lack of electricity, we've found that there is too much of load shedding in our African countries, and many families fail to have the solar system to provide them with power. for them to study even at night, and also the quality of education without electricity in schools becomes very, very difficult. Then safe water. It is also discovered that through our research, most of the schools do not have tap running water within the schools. So it becomes very, very difficult to keep and maintain their hygiene in schools. Then we have infrastructure that do not support learners with disabilities, different disabilities, physical disabilities, and those that might have other kinds of disabilities. So accessing classrooms becomes very, very difficult. So we also have poor sanitation facilities. So under poor sanitation facilities, this is where we have the ablution blocks not well maintained, and it becomes very, very difficult for them to be in such a kind of an environment and concentrate during any class. So we have also suggested some of the solutions, such as building more community schools to reduce the problem of overcrowded classrooms, then introduce localized language instructions. This one can also be a bearing of having a lot of teachers being trained in sign language. Then we also have expand outreach and enrollment drives. So this one is also one of the solution that would help us also mitigate the number of enrollments in schools. Then increase investment in inclusive or disability-friendly school infrastructure, partnerships with NGOs and private sector, as well as promoting solar energy for off-grid schools. That is, schools that are found in rural areas where electricity is almost impossible to provide. Thank you. The next one. So this one, we have the socio-economic barriers. That is where we look at the child labor, early marriages, and under early marriages, this is where we are finding children at the age of 15 are already in marriages. And also children at the age of 12 are already getting pregnant and all. So there is need to ensure that there are policies that are helping to keep learners in schools. Then we have household poverty and also limiting school attendance. Because of poverty, most of the children find it very, very difficult to attend schools and choose to go out there and look out for means of earning a living. Then gender disparities in education, where we still have less girls attending school compared to the boys. Then we have cultural practices affecting girls' education, then low salaries and insufficient teacher housing. This has been a problem now because of high economic we have high economic status now in our country. So it's very, very difficult for teachers to have a stable lifestyle and also manage their lives because of the low salaries that teachers are getting. So there is need to ensure that through policy management, we come up with a policy that will help teachers in Africa to be getting salaries that will help them meet their basic needs accordingly. Then limited teacher training institutions. So we have a total of 10 government teacher training institutions. So this also has made most of the teachers to fail to get into university or colleges because they do not have money to support themselves into school. So private institutions after money. So we need to increase on government public institutions so that teachers can access their higher education. So to conclude our presentation, education remains a powerful drive of development, and it also addresses challenges, and these challenges can also requires collaboration for us to solve them. Then policy reforms, investment, and innovation are essential. Inclusive and equitable education must remain a priority. So education in developing countries faces multiple challenges, but with targeted investment, policy reforms, and innovative partnerships, we can attain the SDG 4 and also create sustainable progress in our countries. Thank you so much.
And thank you for your work, Ruth and John. And thank you for giving us this presentation so that we can also relate with different challenges that you are facing. And many teachers are facing similar challenges. And I would also like to thank you, Sebastian, because he's doing a translation for Romanian colleagues who do not understand all of them English. So he's doing the translation and putting everything in the chat. So that is really nice also, yeah. I congratulate to your work, and I wish you many success also in the future in building schools and providing access to the children in your country. And now we move to Risper. Hello, Risper. Our focus, we will shift our focus now to the climate because she is the climate activist. And I'm not sure why I don't see the picture here now, because she has the camera and I see her in the background, but I'm not sure what happens here. So Risper, welcome again.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. Do we have your presentation?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't see the presentation in the backstage, but also I can upload it, no problem, because you send it to me. So this is the one. And yes, your story is connected to the climate activism, and you said before that your passion lies in climate. And here are your slides. So my journey as a climate justice activist with Greenpeace Africa.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much once again. I'm really happy to be here. So my name is Risper Asembo. And as you can see on the second picture on the first slide, it says the right to a healthy environment, defend it. So I believe that it's everyone's responsibility to defend our environment, because our life depends on how we take care of our environment. And on the first slide, I recently participated in the Refill and Reuse Festival on plastic awareness on that picture. Next, please. So for me, climate justice activism means fighting for a world where no community is sacrificed. Like my community is a very small community and I have to fight for it. I have to fight for the rights of my people. It also means amplifying voices of the most affected. And when it comes to climate justice, women, youth, and children are the most affected. It also means creating systems where people and planet thrive. Here, I focus on mitigation and adaptation as an important aspect of climate justice. And on the picture, the first one, you can see me taking porridge. It's a drink using traditional dish, yeah. So I believe that we can still use this instead of plastics. And on the next picture, it's about food safety campaign. And we recently just won a case, not recently, but today, on food sovereignty. And I'm really happy. Next, please. So my story began because I grew up in flood-prone Dalangi, where I experienced the impacts of climate justice firsthand. And when I joined Greenpeace Africa in 2019, the trainings that I have gone through as an activist at Greenpeace Africa turned my passion into action. On the first picture, that is my former public primary school where I schooled. These are the floods that came in 2020. And on the next picture, you can see women leaving their homes to safer grounds using local boats. Thank you. Next. So nonviolent direct action trainings that have gone through and under Greenpeace are the toolkit that has made me to join major campaigns. It has made me to mobilize communities and youth, especially school children, and it has made me gain skills in activism. And I believe that I'm now a professional activist because it's a skill that I've gained over the years, and it's a skill that no one can take from me. It's mine now and mine, and I can use it to empower other people. Next, please. So the major activities that I do at Greenpeace Africa are protests, banner making, photo ops, petitions and open letters, court cases like the one that just happened today, Twitter storms and webinars. So the first screenshot was a Twitter storm on refill and reuse, Global Plastics Treaty. The second one, we were making a banner about the Aberdare forest ecosystem. And the third one is the recent climate strike called Draw the Line, because most forests in Kenya are being grabbed by the government for privatization. They are being sold for privatization. And we did a protest on Save Karura Forest and others. Next, please. So the major campaigns that I've worked on are Stop Palm Coal Plants, Save Congo Forests, Save Aberdare, Africa Ain't a Dumpster, Global Plastics Treaty, Tax the Super Rich, and Refill just happened in less than a month. Then Seed Sovereignty and Food Safety First, among others. Next. So my blueprint as a Greenpeace activist, I organized and spearheaded the global climate strike for the first time in my home county, Busia. We've never had a strike there before, despite being the victims of floods. It was supported by Fridays for Future Kenya. Then in 2021, I founded my own initiative called Beyond the Trails Kenya, which is a youth-led organization working on environment and climate literacy. So far, we've reached 12 schools across Kenya, and we planted about 8,000 fruit trees. Next, please. So why does youth action matter? Like when you look at these photos, these are different volunteers of Greenpeace Africa participating in different campaigns. And I believe that youth action matters because the youth are the leaders of today. They are not the leaders of tomorrow, as people say. For me, they are just the leaders of today because their action matters. Yeah. So youth action builds confidence. Before becoming an activist, I wasn't confident enough. It develops leadership and communication. I've been able to come up with my own initiative. It creates community. From the pictures, we are a community of Greenpeace Kenya volunteers. And it combats eco-anxiety. Most people are suffering from eco-anxiety. That is a topic of its own. Next, please. So I believe that climate change is a global story. We are all feeling the impacts, even though it's not proportional, but we are at least feeling it. So I believe that it's everyone's call to start small, because it doesn't have to be big to be great. I'll argue everyone to start local, be solution oriented, whether it's planting trees, creating awareness, participating in marches, any action, just be solution oriented. It's high time that Africa starts playing the victim mentality and starts taking action. Connect local to global. Like today, I'm on a global stage. I never imagined that one day I'll be able to speak to an international audience. Next, please. So finally, I believe that if it is to be, it's up to me. If I want to see a clean environment, a better environment, it's up to me to take climate action. And in order for us to win this fight, we need to come up as a community. So if it's to be, it's up to me. And if it's up to us, then nothing can stop us. When we come together as a group, as a community, nothing can stop us. Like today, Greenpeace Africa won a court case against the government of Kenya on seed sovereignty because we came together, we organized Twitter storms, we organized various campaigns. It has been a journey of 3 years, but finally we've won for that local farmer, for that local fisherman. Yeah, thank you. So I just want to say that let's connect because we need to do more of climate action as a community in order for us to create a sustainable future for everyone. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Risper. I mean, what? 8,000 trees? With how many people you did that?
I've reached out to 12
And
schools.
how many of you were in the team? Yeah. Yes?
My team is made up of 15 people.
With 12 schools and
15 people who are just volunteers because we are not that very stable when it comes to finances. But the reason why we've been able to achieve that number is because in a school, you are able to work with many children. Yeah. Yes. So the 8,500 is the number that we can account for.
Thank you so much for sharing these really concrete actions. Thank you very much. And yeah, I see, I mean, this conference is really developing so nice because Ruth and John shared us some data and statistics. You showed us like really concrete actions you are doing. And now we are moving to methodology because of course we are teachers and we also need some of the methodological things in order to work with our students. So really thank you, Risper, and yeah, please continue this important work. Thank you very much. And connect with Risper. She provided the LinkedIn contacts and Instagram, so connect with her and support her work. Yeah. Maja, welcome also you. So this is the methodology work. You prepared the overview. How can teachers lead such a activism event with their students, right? So yeah, that's your stage now.
Yes, exactly. I'm also really impressed by the first presentations. So the point of my presentation is to try to include presentations and stories like that in the event that will motivate youth. So yes, last weekend we had a Triathlon of Activism that we organized together with Yarnea, that will follow me, and 2 more colleagues from STEP Institute. And today I want to encourage all of you watching to also do something like that, maybe in your schools or your organizations. So yes, why we even decided to organize this event? Because we really believe it's very important to encourage young people to be active in society and also to help them create a better future. And I think school is a perfect place to organize something similar because school is a place that connects knowledge, values, and actions. And a lot of times when we talk with students or other young people, we see that they see an injustice, but often they don't know how to act. So it's really important for us to move from lectures to experiences, stories, like we heard just now from Risper, and to co-creation of better society and better future. So yes, the name of the event was Triathlon. Why triathlon? Because the idea was to have 3 disciplines. First, to have lectures that will answer the question, what is happening in the world, what is happening in society, what is happening, I don't know, in Africa, something that Ruth and John had in first presentation. So to understand global and local issues through lectures. This is first discipline. Then the second is to answer the question, why? This we wanted to, like, why we need to act, why we need to do something, which we wanted to achieve through personal stories and to motivate participants for actions. So we had different stories, like about how to organize, I don't know, a humanitarian concert, or how to start a movement, a protest, or how to be activists, like Risper explained us, to be activist by volunteer by passion. And the third part of triathlon was to answer the question, how to do it, how to change something. And then this we used workshop where we try to develop some concrete ideas and prototypes. And after me, you will also hear one example of idea that can help also schools and teachers. So originally we designed it as a 3-day event, but it can be easily adapted into 1-day format. And we also did the adaptation already. And after, like, it is also shared in my presentation, so you can also check it and use it in your classrooms or schools. So in our event, we involved participants between 15 and 30 years old. It was mostly from 20 to 30 in our case. And from our side, from STEP Institute, we were involved trainers and youth workers, and we were acting like facilitators, so to moderate all the event and also to lead the workshop. And we had, I think, nine guest speakers that were really from different backgrounds. It was like some experts the first day, then activists, people with migration experience, volunteers, and also some young change makers. So the first day was focused on understanding the issues in the world, in our societies. So we had 3 lectures. We had the first lecture about rights, equality, and justice. The second lecture about the stereotypes, the prejudice, the exclusion. And the third lecture was about the global inequalities that we wanted to connect with everyday choices. In our case, we decided to talk about fast fashion. How fast fashion, that like how our purchases are affecting somebody else, what fast fashion really means in society. But here we could also include, for example, the education, like it was the first presentation from Ruth and John. So our method was kind of to combine 3 lectures, and in the end we had time for questions, and we also had a half hour for a group discussion. So the goal was first to give young people a language and a framework to describe what bothers them in the world. Then the second day, we wanted to activate our participants a bit more. We had 5 stories, one story about the protests in Sudan, one about Serbian protests, one about organizing a humanitarian concert, one about students of medicine that goes to Africa, to different countries to be part of local hospitals. And one about the young guy that moved from Kazakhstan to Slovenia and is now very, very active in student work in different parts of student decisions. So the idea was that those participants those guests motivate our participants to also do something by themselves. So we had 15 minutes for each story, and after each story we had post-its, so participants could write down their thoughts, their feelings, or some questions. And then after that we had some time for participants to ask questions aloud, or we read them from post-its. So in this case, we really try to involve everyone, not just the one that are maybe more brave to speak, but also the one that are more quiet, but can write down the questions. So we also covered them. So our goal of the second day was to use those stories to motivate participants to take the first steps toward changing society for better. So really to do a bit of a push for participants. And then on the third day, we try to push them to act. And this we try to do with a workshop where we try to move from ideas to actually designing prototypes. So we use a simplified design thinking process First step was empathize, to research one problem that we selected. In our case, it was a problem that was actually pointing out the role of school in encouraging students to be active citizenship. But yeah, you will hear more about it later. And then we defined our problem with the fishbone method, brainstormed different ideas how to solve this problem. And then we developed a prototype where we used a simplified Canvas model for idea development. And also we showed our, not we, participants did, showed our prototype with Lego bricks. So the idea was to help participants to use beyond just saying the world is unfair, but to actually make some concrete, realistic ideas for changes for a better society. So, yes, the results, well, in my opinion, the result is really nice because during the workshop, we developed an idea how to increase the role of schools in promoting active citizenships among young people. This document is available here, but it will be also presented just after me by Yarnea and Lana. So they will explain you what was our idea and also maybe motivate you to use this idea in your schools. And also in my PowerPoint, you can see, I think Blanca already uploaded PowerPoint. So here you also have the link in the PDF. So yes, what you can do, you can also have a 3-day event as we did. Like, I don't know if you have some project weeks or some school camps or international mobilities. You can also organize it as a 1-day triathlon and have 3 blocks. Or you can do it like as 3 separate days or activities. It can be integrated in different topics like citizenship education, or maybe if you have class teacher class where you have just with a class teacher, or in some, I don't know, interdisciplinary or project days. But I think it's really important. Like, teachers are really, really important if you want to move students somewhere, because school is really one of the few places where all young people are present, and you as teacher really have the power to make a change. So it doesn't need to be something big. It can be really a pilot in a class or just a group of students. Actually, what you need is just one space to have it, like a classroom. Maybe you can invite some guest stories, which can be like in person, but it can be also videos. Like you can, I don't know, invite Risper to be online with you. You need some Post-it notes, markers, flip charts, papers, because we want students to be active. And we can share with you our Canvas model to develop ideas. And yeah, you need to, of course, prepare a bit, but I think it's completely worth it. So we can share with you the scenario. It can be for 3 days or 1-day event. We developed it, and you have like written also with the timeline and with material and everything. And in the end of scenarios, you will also find this Canvas template. And if you need any support, like I'm also available on the first slide, you can find my email. So you can also write me for a short online support when you will plan your event. But yeah, all the methodology, everything is also available in the link of this PDF. So yeah, you can, of course, check it and save it and try it. And that's it from my side.
Thank you, Maja. Engaging activities, they are great to motivate our students. It's one of the comment in the chat. Yes, thank you. And if I may remind you, Maja, when we started with Triathlon of Activism, because this is a second edition, actually we had only 1 day, remember? And now it's 3 days, so we have different formats, yes. And also our teachers, they can organize the whole project week around these topics, or 1 day, yeah, or maybe a few hours, or yeah. Great really that you shared the methodology. It's really adaptable, and also all the documents are already uploaded in the Pan-European Conference of Digital Education Facebook group. So you can download them and use them, yes, to for your professional work. Yeah. Right, Yernea and Lana.
Yes.
Here they are. Okay. And yes, so many documents I have today here. So
thank you,
yeah.
Blanca, for doing all
And
this
your
work. So it's because of you that we are able to share the ideas and motivate others. So, okay, I guess I can just continue. Yes, Maja already talked about motivation and how we can engage, how we can motivate, and I think this is the very important question that we all deal with. How can we as adults, as teachers, as trainers, as parents support our children, our youth to be active and to take the role in shaping a better future for us all? So I think it's really, it comes like to the basic that we actually show them that their opinions do matter, that they can do something in their microenvironment or maybe globally, and then that we, through that process, we, in this way, we can help them become responsible persons and active. And there are, of course, as teachers, you know, many different ways how to motivate, how to engage, but sometimes it's good to have this reminder that it matters so much to actually give students the voice, so that they see that we show them, yeah, your voice matters, your ideas are important, they are valid, and we are here to support you. So, and we can include them and their voices into, I don't know, everyday life at school, whether this is about, I don't know, how they want to spend their breaks, or which topics do they want to discuss at certain lessons, how the lessons should be implemented on the level of methodology, or I don't know, maybe a simple thing like a school bell. How can we, or maybe make it in a different way so that it's more pleasant to listen to it. And then the second thing is, I think, give them opportunities for meaningful experiences. So let's go out of the building, we would say, and take them to, I don't know, individuals, organizations, face-to-face or online, however, to actually to enable them to hear stories, to share good practices, and most importantly also to discuss challenges, to see that, yeah, the world has some difficulties, there are problems, but we can actually do something about it if we decide to be active, and of course if we help and support each other. So take them out, and of course, I think Maja already mentioned, invite professionals, invite different people to school, so that they can, you know, in a way connect theory with practice, and to actually link what they are learning with real life, also in online environment where they are present a lot nowadays. So, and yeah, let's build civic engagement through in a way to that we seek out, we recognize, support, and promote projects and activities that students do that are actually meaningful, that have some social impact or impact on the environment or well-being of people around them. It doesn't matter. So that we, because I believe that young people do care, and they do a lot of things maybe already, but they don't, I don't know, show it off that much. So let's pay attention, let's ask them, and then validate and promote their projects. And to conclude, the last thing I would say is that it's really important that also authorities and different decision makers, may that be a principal at the school, or I don't know, a mayor in the city, or even the national parliament or global leaders, I think that, yeah, young people's voices matter, and if there is a lot of voices, when a lot of voices come together, they can have great impact, as we also heard today from our speakers. And as schools, as teachers, you have connections, and you can help them go somewhere, you know, to speak out, to share, to send something to a decision maker. Because if we just sit here and discuss and have ideas, then, and it doesn't come to the people that are actually, that make decisions, then of course it's more difficult to implement changes. So yeah, let's go out and turn around a bit and seek opportunities for building different skills, leadership, responsibility, and of course, activism. And I know teachers, you already do a lot of different things. So maybe sometimes it's just, that little push to go to the next level, to make the next step. And Lana is here today to present one idea that we were brainstorming about, and also as parents and as those who work with young people a lot, we would really wish to see schools that implement such ideas in practice, not just on paper. So now I would invite Lana, but I see there are some issues with maybe connection or. Okay, this is it from my part. I don't know, Blanca, if there's any questions or comments in between while we wait for Lana.
Hi.
Okay,
Sorry.
You're back.
Yeah, I don't know. I just went out the second before I should go on, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
So I hope I caught everything. Yeah, so the thing that we were discussing is the active involvement in student life, and the purpose of this was for students to actively contribute to school life, and through this to motivate them for more active participations in society. The aim was to for the young people to develop some sense of responsibility and to know that their opinions matter. So one of the key activities were class meetings and then school assemblies. So the class meeting is what I will be presenting later. So during the class meetings, students would discuss concrete changes at school, and the most relevant ones would be then talked about in the school assembly. The classroom in which the class meeting would take place would look a bit different than usually. So the chairs would be in a circle arrangement, so to support equality and inclusion. And in the middle there would be a box with the suggestions that the students of the set class would have put in during the week with the proposed changes to the schools. The box would be beforehand read by the teacher, that would just so they know what they would be talking about. The teacher would also be in a part of the circle, not in front of it, so not like their voice would be of greater value than the students. They could be like sitting on the floor or sitting on the chairs, whatever they decide. And they would start with the most, usually with the most proposed topic, and discuss options, how they could resolve it, and then later on vote by the show of hands or something, which decision, and the decision that would gain most votes would be then later represented at the assembly. There would be a note taker taken in selected at the beginning of the class, and class representative. The two roles wouldn't be always given to the same pupils. They would be, each time there would be a different pupil given the role. So everyone has to take active part of these meetings and assemblies. So they have an active role, and note that sometimes you have to present something you do not stand by, but your class thinks it's best, so you have to stand by something that is not your opinion, but is the class's opinion. So I think that will teach young people that their voice isn't the only one that matters, but you have to make something work as a group not only think of yourself. The class would have a talking object that would be given to the person that talks. Here the teacher would have a role of managing the time, so the one pupil doesn't take 15 minutes to speak their opinions, because otherwise not all the children could say their opinions. If the class gets too loud, people don't listen anymore, there would be like a silent instrument, a bell or a chime that could be rang or something to let the class know that they need to slow down and listen a bit more to what others are saying. And then the classroom would also be a bit more welcoming, with a bit more plants and maybe a bit more light. I think that it would be good to have windows open, and so you can think more clearly. If some topics get too complex, you can rearrange the classroom so that students can first talk in groups and discuss the problems, and then they would return to the circle that represents equality and inclusion. And I think the important thing is that also the unrealistic propositions are noted, that the teacher talks about them and explains why they cannot be implemented, but still encourages the students to
Okay.
Yeah, she disappeared. Yeah.
Yes, today we have a
She
little
is
bit
here
more
again. Yeah,
technical
there is
problems.
a connection problem. Yeah.
I haven't had the problem.
Yeah. Just continue. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah, the connection is the problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So also the proposal that can be met with, they have to be acknowledged, so that people know that even if something they say is not like the most revolutionary thing, and I don't know what, their voice matters, and they still and you can still make some adjustments to the thing that bothers you, and you can meet somewhere in the middle, and work on something that works with everyone. I also think that the important part is then the school assembly, where the topics would be discussed, and part of the school assembly would be the students, of course, the student representatives and the note takers that were in the class meetings, the teachers, the technical staff, the social workers, the cooks, if it is needed. Everyone would be involved, so everyone knows that they're important. If they have suggestions, they are listened to. Ideally, the school assemblies would be held by the principal, the head teacher, and probably some counsel from like a social worker or something like that. And then some other activities that were proposed by us were like suggestion boxes and boards. I think Yanea mentioned it a bit. So in the classroom, you would have a box that would be talked about during the class meetings. You would also have a suggestion board somewhere in the school where it's accessible to everyone, and they could put bigger suggestions on there about the school changes. You would also give more voice to the staff. So there would be a box in the staff room where everyone from the staff could propose suggestions. This would all be anonymously, of course. And also the subject-specific ideas. So if children think there are some current important topics in the world, and they apply to some subjects, they could put it on the suggestion board, and the teacher would review them and then try to incorporate them in the lessons. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I covered everything. And yeah, everything would be applied from the primary school on. So we would also, the youngest of children would be involved in everything, because it's important for them to know that because they are young, they can still contribute to society, and have opinions that matter, because they also live there, not only the older students. And every topic would just be made age appropriate by their head teacher. Or there need to be lots of support from the staff, definitely the teachers, the head teachers of the classes. But I think it would be of great value, because I think if you take the voice from people in the school, you can't expect them to say take their voice and do something meaningful in the outside of the school, because the school is like a very closed system where you're kind of comfortable, and if you don't matter there, I don't know how you can think you can matter outside the school, because you don't practice it anywhere. And one of the important things here, I think, would be to implement some other soft skills in the lessons, like rhetorics and so, where you would know how to say what you mean, how to listen to other people, how to understand things that are going on in the world, how to have empathy and care, and with that you can make some changes. Yeah.
Great.
Hope I covered everything.
Thank you, Lana. I think it's. I was really happy to see that this idea is developing, because we work a lot with teachers, and yeah, I agree. It can start really quickly when they're small, and that's how we can develop and build. And maybe I can use this opportunity to really invite you all, like Blanca already did, to if you already do something like that, please share, because we would be so happy to hear about good practices and share them. And of course, maybe this event can encourage you to do something if you are not yet doing that. So welcome to stay connected and share the good stories. So thank you.
Yes, the whole purpose of the Pan-European Conference is to share good practice. And thank you, Lana. Your idea reminded me that sometimes we forget that actually active citizenship needs to be developed. We just tell people, okay, go vote, and that's it. But yeah, we didn't develop the skill before. And this is the skill actually to feel the empowerment to contribute to the community, and we develop this since we are young, right? And hear different messages about how it is possible to contribute or not. In the meanwhile, yes, I would just like to invite all of you to give us a feedback and evaluate this conference. The link is in the comments. And once again, I will show you the poster session of the conference, because you still have the opportunity to share your practice. And this is here. Look, it's the conference Padlet. It's already filled with different teaching practices. We will send the link to this Padlet also in our follow-up email tomorrow. Yes, in the meanwhile, you can think maybe what you can contribute here, and the link will always stay open, so that it's the learning material there as well for your yes, so that you can use it. And as I said, the whole purpose of the conference is to share the practices among teachers from different countries. So thank you very much to all of you. Our next conference is in December, 18th of December. And we will have some headmasters here and talk about the school leadership, but also introduce some teaching practices in language development. So thank you very much and happy teaching to all of you. Goodbye.